The 2008 film Slumdog Millionaire is such an awesome adventure from beginning to end. From the characters to the story. This was my first time looking at this one, and I'm quite satisfied how this movie turned out because this film, it is so memorable to say the least. Based off the 2005 novel Q&A, the story of this one follows an 18-year-old named Jamal Malik who's grown up in the slums of Mumbai. When he gets onto an Indian version of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, when Jamal surprises everybody by answering each question correctly, then he is accused of cheating. And so he tells his life story to the police and how he knows each answer to every question. And from there, it's not only one of the best movies from the 2000s, but also from director Danny Boyle. Which, interesting enough, I've only ever seen 2 other films from that director, but I found this one very engaging. The characters, the acting, the direction, especially the cinematography and the soundtrack. Even the story is amazing with some great character moments all throughout this one. This movie is so widely acclaimed, it had actually won 8 Academy Awards, which is very impressive to say the least. Overall, this is such a great film. Just a simple tale of how this Indian kid went from rags to riches makes this one very memorable. Now, one of the things I really loved about this film was the strong character development of both Jamal and Salim. These 2 brothers, they've been through a lot, especially considering they was growing up in the slums. And they had to, steal in order to get by. Like, it's a sad, beginning for them, but they eventually do better for themselves. Well, at least for Jamal, I think that Dev Patel did a great job considering this was his first film role. And, just seeing how these 2 brothers are, surviving. They're going through a lot. And basically, while Salim, his character was good as well. The adult actor who played them, I think he did a decent job. But just seeing these 2 characters go from being kids to adults, it's quite some good character development. Now, Latika, played by Freda Pinto, she did a alright job. I'm not hating on her acting. The character could have needed more polish, to be honest, because she's mainly like the love interest. And, while we as an audience don't see much of the character, like, she shows up at a specific point, but other than that, we don't know much about her. We don't know where she comes from. We don't know what she does in the years after she disappears for a short amount of time in the film. It's a little frustrating because I really felt like with more character development, she could have been quite the standout character within this one. This is a sad film, to be honest. It's not sad enough where I was crying or anything, but I did care about what happened to these kids because it's all quite unfortunate, everything these 2 brothers go through. But I will say this film definitely is a highlight. It's one of the best movies from the 2000s. Ironically enough, this is a British film and not a Bollywood film because even though it's set in India, some of the actors they're not even, Indian. Like Dave Patel, he's British. But anyway, I'm going on a tangent. This film, it still holds up even more than 15 years later. And by some reason you haven't seen this one yet, then definitely check it out because it is well worth the time. I'm giving this film an 8 out of 10. Now, despite how serious this film can get at times, it does have some funny moments, which I thought was a nice breakup from the serious flashbacks of both Jamal and Salim's backstories. One of the most important messages I took away from watching this, that even during the face of incredible hardships, always hope to dream big and accomplish greatness. And that's something that Jamal did. He went from living in the slums to being one of the richest people around. And I have to say, that's very inspiring because some of the most well-accomplished people in the world, they started off from not having a whole lot to achieving greatness just because they never gave up on their dreams. Now, despite the movie's controversy about stereotypes of poverty in India, I just looked at it from a story standpoint of just how these two characters, both Jamal and Celine, did things to make their lives better. For Jamal, it was going on that game show, and for Celine, it was working for a big-time crime boss. It's actually a great parallel between those two characters, to be honest. At the end of the day, this one does an amazing job of being not just a great movie, but a fine piece of cinema history. And that's my review of Slumdog Millionaire. Okay, leave your comments down below in the section and let me know what you think about this movie. Alright, this is Slum Guy 172 saying peace out.